What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and today I have another version of Fire King for y'all. I am really enjoying this deck, and this is honestly my favorite list. We have Dogmatica Fire King. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the little things here and there about the deck. Instead, I'm just going to get straight into the profile. Starting us off with the Fire King portion of the deck. We have 3 copies of Fire King Avatar, or Legendary Fire King Ponix. Your 1-card combo, you want to see it as often as possible, and that's what this build is helping us do. Next, after Ponix, we have 3 copies of Fire King High Avatar Kieran, because Kieran is extremely good, giving you a quick effect pop during both main phases, and having a nice little reborn effect that also pops a card non-targeting when it's destroyed by card effect. Then we're on 2 copies of Big Garunix, because Garunix is really good. He destroys one in the deck on summon, and you search him off of island, and he then summons himself because you destroyed a fire monster. Next, we are on 2 copies of Fire King Avatar Arvada. This guy is a monster negate, and he reborn something from the graveyard and then kills it on the end phase, which is why I'm down to 1 copy of Barong. I really wanted to play 2, but I couldn't find the space to play 2 Barong. So I'm only on the 1 Barong, but I would recommend trying 2 because I feel like 2 is better than the 1. Next, I'm on 2 copies of Fire King Sanctuary because, I had to make some cuts in order to fit Dogmatica in here, and they fit in here really, really well. And plus, 3 Sanctuary is a little too bricky, whereas 2 feels just right, because you really only need to search it once, maybe twice. And then we're also only on the 2 copies of Fire King Island, because you need a 1-to-1 ratio of Island to Sanctuary. Simple as that. Then I'm still on 2 copies of Skyburn, which if you wanted to go down to 1 copy of Skyburn, I would cut out 1 Skyburn for a second Barong, but I like 2 Skyburn just for when it gets a little bit extra grindy. Plus, Skyburn being a quick play spell has some applications in the battle phase, and then 1 copy of Circle of Fire Kings because, again, applications in the battle phase being a quick play spell card. And that is it for the Fire King portion of the deck. It's a very small portion of the deck. It's only 18 cards. But what we're getting into next, which is Dogmatica, is even smaller. We're on 1 copy of Dogmatica Ecclesia the Virtuous, 1 copy of Dogmatica Maximus, and 1 copy of Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis. You only need 1 of each of these because they serve a purpose of being an extra interaction, an extra deck rip, and this is just a search for your extra point of interaction. So all 3 of these cards play really well, and then we're also on 3 copies of Nadir Servant in order to search out your combo pieces. And yeah, just in general, really good way. This engine helps you see Ponix a lot more frequently, but is less consistent about it than the Diabellstar engine. Next up, for the generic spell cards and other generic cards, we're going to just start off with, cards that every deck can play, which is 2 copies of Triple Tactics Talent. I do not have Thrust, and I'm going to be honest with you, I refuse to buy copies of Thrust. And then I'm also on 2 copies of Crossout Designator and 1 copy of Called by the Grave. A very simple crossout can help stop crossout and Called by helps stop hand traps that hurt us, like Effect Veiler and Imperm, and even Droll and Ash. So I play 2 Designator, and then for whenever our opponent does activate those, we have Triple Tactics Talent in order to do anything we really want in order to get back at our opponent. Now for the hand trap lineup. we are on 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Droll and Lockbird, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, and 1 copy of Infinite Impermanence. Let me readjust these really quick so that way they're a little bit more on screen. And then boom. 3. This is the current ratio of the main deck hand traps that I'm on. And in fact, the side deck doesn't really have any hand traps, but no, it does have a hand trap in there. But this is like all of the hand traps that hurt this deck, because we do search a little bit, not as much as we normally do or normally should, but Droll still hurts because it stops us from going combo. Ash stops us from going combo. Veiler and Imperm stop us from going combo, which is why I'm running cross out, because being able to cross out any of these is really good. Plus, you can only cross out Imperm, but you can called by the rest. And that is it for the main deck. Let's go ahead and get into the extra deck. Starting us off in the extra deck, we have 3 copies of Garunix Eternity, Yang of the Fire King. You can definitely go down to 1 copy of Garunix. I just didn't have the extra deck cards to go down, or not. You can to go down to 2. You can go down to 2 and be fine. However, the third copy can be whatever, because you really only need 1 or 2 copies of the Xyz, and I like 2 copies more than I like 1, because having the option to make this multiple times isn't really a bad thing. Then I'm on 1 copy of Dingirsu. Dingirsu is another one that I've seen in lists, but people don't actually use it. It doesn't come up, but I feel like it can come up, especially right now, being, just a way to send a card without targeting. Super strong. And then I'm on 1 copy of Zeus. Both of these are really cards that you're not summoning all that much, if at all. So that's why I'm more emphasize on the the golden chicken more than anything else. And that's actually it for the Xyz that I'm playing. I really don't like Zeus in this deck because he doesn't synergize with the cards, but he is okay. However, if you have the money, I would make this Zeus a Typhon, because Typhon is just better. A lot better in the current game. Then I'm on 1 copy of Underworld Goddess. Again, another one that's kind of like meh. If you have the money for it, I would make this an SP Little Knight, because I am on IP Masquerena. And I'm also on a copy of Nightmare Unicorn, as well as a copy of Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. And then we have the one of Hita as well. Now for the Dogmatica Extra Deck engine, which isn't as big as you think it is, and I could honestly expand it and and put some other cards in here. I am on 1 copy of Tri-Brigade Shureg, because if you send this card off of Maximus, it searches your Ponix. And then I'm also on 2 copies of Elder Entity and Tis, because having the extra slots, plus, being able to pop cards for free, in a sense, it gives you the ability to play second, but it also gives you extra cards to dump in order to search, and so on and so forth. They're on the 1 Titaniclad and the 1 Garura in the extra. And that's it for the Dogmatica engine in the extra deck and in the main deck. Like I said, you can make the extra deck one a little bit bigger, because you have these flex spots, like 1 copy of your Grunix can go, Dingirsu can go, Apollosa, Underworld Goddess, Hita. Well, actually, no, Hita's pretty good because of Fire King being best deck right now. But Unicorn can technically go. You don't really need to play 2 Entis. I just felt like playing 2 Entis. And that is it for the extra deck. now we get into the side deck, which the side deck is a little bit funny. It's a little bit weird. So bear with me on that. And starting us off in the side deck, we have one copy of OG Garunix, because I can't really justify completely cutting this card out of the deck, because it's actually not bad. It's a searchable dark hole that just kind of keeps coming back if you can keep popping it, which isn't hard in this deck. And plus, dark holing yourself isn't that bad in this deck. So I kept him in, but only in the side deck and for matchups when you kind of need it. Then we have the the third copy of Effect Veiler in the side deck. I didn't want to try and fit 3 of it in the main, but I also know I can't really play less than 3 of it, so I decided to put 2 in the main, 1 in the side. Just felt a little bit better. And then we have 1 copy of Dark Hole, because, it's not searchable, but you can board both of these in, and then you have your searchable and non-searchable Dark Hole, so you technically have 2 Dark Holes. And then I also have 2 copies of Dogmatica Punishment. This is for games that get a little bit, or for, matchups that aren't Fire King, that lose to multiple points of interaction, which is another reason why we're playing the Intis. You can board both of these in, and you don't need to search them per se, which is why I'm playing 2. So you can get away with just either hard drawing this, or if you open the Ecclesia, you can normal summon, or you can summon the Ecclesia from your hand and then grab a Dogmatic Punishment. Then this is where the side deck gets a little bit funky, because I'm pretty sure you guys noticed a certain card that I sing praises for wasn't in the main deck. That's because 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity are here in the side deck. Now, my reasoning for this is because it has an anti-synergy with the Dogmatica engine, where after you activate it, you can't draw anymore. So during testing, I had a lot of instances where I would open Prosperity but not Servant, and sending anything that isn't Garura off of Servant kind of blows. Excuse me. So that's why I'm putting Prosperity in the side, because it just feels better to board it in rather than board it out, or just have it in the board and not touch it because of that anti-synergy with Servant. So that's my reasoning for Prosby being here. And then we're also on the 3 copies of Droplet in the side, because Droplet is still a fairly decent card. Then I have the 3rd copy of Triple Tactics Talent here, and then 3 copies of Herald of the Abyss for matchups that we can't really get over things, And that is going to be it for the deck profile. If you guys would like to see me go through a combo tutorial with this deck, I will actually God, do I want to do a quick combo guide right now? Part of me says yes, part of me says no. You know what? We'll do it. We'll do it. So, what the Dogmatica engine does is, with Nadir Servant by itself, so you can go and give me just a second. So with Nadir Servant alone, if you activate the Nadir Servant, you send your Garura from deck to the graveyard to add your Maximus to your hand. And then Garura is going to draw you a card. So this combo is like hard Ash bait. But now that after you've drawn a card, we're not going to simulate having the extra card in your hand. You can banish the Garura from your graveyard to special summon the Maximus. And then Maximus is going to send your Titaniclad and your Shureg. And then Shureg is going to grab Ponix from your deck to your hand. And then you can go through the normal Fire King combo of normal summoning Ponix to grab Sanctuary to put, whatever. And by your opponent's turn, you'll have 8 cards in hand, which is what I have found during testing. And I really like that because it's freaking dope. And it definitely hits home on all cylinders. It fires on all cylinders for me that, this is a build that I can get behind. However, my takeaway is that this will never be as good as the Snake Eye engine, but this is a budget way to play Fire King with, without having to worry about getting your hands on all of the Snake Eye cards. And with that being said, I'm going to call the video here. I hope y'all did enjoy the deck profile, and I will see you all in the new year. Thank you for an amazing 2023. We are at 192 subscribers. If we can get to 200 before the end of the year, I made a deal with my buddy, Dally, again, to build another deck. But this one I'm really not going to like. So with that being said, I'll see everybody next time. Peace.